All right. Yeah, we're doing something a little bit different today. I don't think we've played much way outside of like Stardew Valley adjacent games, but Final Fantasy VI is just one of my favorite games of all time. So we'll give it a second. If anybody's still getting ads, I don't want to get started without them. But welcome in, everybody. Welcome, Molly, Epic Center for Life, Ace, William. It's good to see y'all. I think it's going to be a really, really chill night. This is pretty, like I said, outside our normal realm, so we'll probably be a little bit slower tonight, and I'm okay with that. That's fine. I think it's still worth it. Never played a Final Fantasy game, but you're here for it. This is one of my favorites. It's a little goofy, you know? Like, you can kind of feel its age, because this game came out in, like, 1994, I want to say. I mean, I haven't played this version of it, but the story is fun and good, but it is a little silly sometimes, and some of the communication is a little weird. So we'll see what they did with this remaster. I'm really excited for it, especially the soundtrack, and just diving back in. Welcome in, Megan. All right, I'm going to switch us over here. We're going to get rolling. Yeah, I haven't loaded into this other than just to change the controls and the font, because the font is pretty awful. Let me know also if we need to switch anything up with the audio, because it seems like every single game I gotta kind of redo some stuff. So at the very beginning here, we're going to learn kind of about this war that occurred, and magic was kind of thrust out of the land and broke things apart. And people started creating like technology instead, and now this empire is trying to merge the two and bring magic back into the world. Hey Ali, hey Totem Wolf. Gosh, I'm so excited for this. So yeah, everybody's a little concerned about that, or at least the people that know about it are a little concerned that there's this like reawakening of magic that's set to occur, and whether or not it does, we'll see, but it's a concern for the people involved. This is a very steampunk world. It's I don't know, if you play any Final Fantasy, 7 is probably the one that most people are familiar with. There's a lot of like the same steampunk vibes, so we'll see how it goes. I'm really, really jazzed. So we're going to start off with these two clowns, Biggs and Wedge, the two guys with the bucket helmets. And I didn't ask. I should have probably asked my members if anyone wanted to be named, but I think we're just going to end up using the default names for our people. And basically what they're telling us right now is, I think once I shut up and stop just gushing about it, I might end up reading the text as we go for people that are just listening, but what we're talking about right now is these guys are coming to this city, and apparently they're bringing this woman here under their control. She's got some kind of crown on that forces them to obey her commands, and we are riding into this unsuspecting city on the back of these like magic armored individual units. Isn't Final Fantasy the one with the chocobos? Yeah, we'll have some chocobos later. This was like surprise 3D when we saw it for the first time, because this was like an engine that wasn't really put into use. So you would see like these parallax backgrounds like scrolling and things walking across, and like you don't think about that as being really cool or innovative now, but it was pretty mind-blowing to have like you'd be playing a 2D RPG and then all of a sudden you'd have like this pseudo 3D. Pretty wild, pretty wild. Such cool pixel art in this game. The environments are awesome. The environments are super good. And I actually think like the story holds up pretty well, even if there's some holes. You know what? They did pretty good for having to get every single line of script onto, you know, a cart the size of, I don't know, a floppy disk, if that. I think we are gonna... You know what? I do want to see this. It might take us a second, but I want to see what the crawl looks like. On the Super Nintendo version, this is where we would be getting like our credits, actually. We would learn about Ted Woosley, who was the translator for this version of the game. And they're using his old Super Nintendo translation as a base for this game. So we'll see if there's like some old callbacks to that. If I understand correctly, it was kind of a janky operation where he basically was given this Japanese script and they said do your best, but they didn't set a lot of expectations other than that it was supposed to be very like accessible, that there wasn't supposed to be like a lot of Nintendo of America didn't really approve of like sexualization and certain levels of violence were just too much. Okay, anyway, so we're into the city. And they're talking about how they're going to force this girl out in front to take care of the enemies that we run into. And that's because she apparently has some power. Favorite Final Fantasy? For me, it's this one. This is actually my favorite. And so when we load up here, you can see... like, I don't know if you saw it right away, but when we were controlling that girl... she had more stuff that she could do. Wow, this is really pretty, actually. Anyway, she had, like, more stuff that she could do than these two, like, guards or whatever. And that'll be important in a little bit. The first stuff that I ever did for YouTube was actually an entire playthrough of this game from start to finish with, like, minimal experience. And it was really, really fun, but I was not really sure what I was doing with YouTube yet. So they're still available. Like, you can find them on my channel page. There's an unlisted set of videos, and they're in a playlist called, I think it's just called Final Fantasy Low Level Challenge or something like that. And you can tell it's been a learning experience since then. You play 14, the MMO? I played 14 for quite a while, actually. I really enjoyed 14. I picked it up right away and played it like every night when I would get home from work. And at one point I moved for work and I didn't have a connection for a little while, or a reliable one. So I couldn't like get in all the time, and just being gone for like a couple of weeks and out of our group. Oh, did it just let me walk diagonally? I forgot I could do that. Wow, that's the innovation. My goodness. Hey, Dani. Blast from the past. This was your first one. This is a good place to start. But yeah, just being away from the game for a couple of weeks and missing out on some big stuff. Let's see. How do we do that? Okay. Was enough that I just didn't really get back into it, which was a bummer, because Final Fantasy XIV was so fun. And it was a great community, too. Really had a good time with that game. What's the plot of this game? Right now we don't know much about the plot. What we know so far is that we've been sent to this little town that's kind of in the corner of the world, because there was something discovered in the mines here. And I'm not even sure if they've talked about what it is yet. We're just going to heal up real quick. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Is that auto? That must be auto in this one. Okay. But yeah, we're being sent to this place by the Empire, which... Of course, we're the good guys at this point, because there's something here, something they called an Esper, and that's kind of all we know. Other than the fact that the two guys in the bucket helmets are apparently controlling this girl with the green hair. They said she has a crown on that'll basically... yeah, here we go. According to our source, some miners unearthed a frozen Esper and a new shaft they were digging. This must be it. So she basically cannot take any actions that they don't, like, force her to do. All right. Yeah, so we have question mark, lady, and then we have wedge and Biggs. And I'm not doing anything special with this run. Like I said, I did a low-level run before, but we're just going to play through it as is. I won't plan on doing any grinding, but I won't do any, like... I won't restrict myself in any way, I guess I should say. The story in 14 is amazing. I actually thought it was surprisingly good for an MMO. That wasn't something I expected. I'll handle this. Stand back. What a manly man. This is our very first boss coming up here. And the first time that my dad and I played this, because I played it with him as a kid, we did not know what to do here. Like, we must have just skipped through all of this, but basically what we're being told is how to beat this boss. So this is a lightning whelk. It's a monster that absorbs lightning, okay? Stores the energy in its shell. Right, so don't attack the shell. So we were like, okay, cool, yeah, so we won't attack the shell, we'll attack the head. And that makes sense. But at a certain point, the head is going to go away, right? So my dad and I were like, well, I guess we have to hit the shell now. Like, what are we going to do? Right? Like, you can't just not fight the enemy. Well, that's kind of what you got to do, is just hang out and not fight the enemy for a hot second. So I would say we were not smart men. Oh, there it goes. So it's going to hide its head in the shell, and we're going to get zapped because I didn't wait long enough. And I mean, we didn't lose because it's the beginning of the game. Nothing is really that powerful yet. But it was not a good start. As we play across the game, I have a lot of those little moments where we just did not do very good things. We just made mistakes. And a lot of the problems that we had with this game were self-inflicted. Just annihilating every person and dog that gets in our way. Yeah. We're invading this town. These guys are like defending their home, and we're coming in and shooting them with missiles and fire beams. So, you know, I would say that's not ideal. Yeah, I'm not going to bother grinding at all. So this is the mysterious creature that we were sent here to find. Frozen Esper. They remastered the soundtrack, or like re-recorded it. I mean, you'd have to at this point. But I think it's pretty baller, actually. It's sounding really good so far. So the girl and the Esper are like connecting somehow. And this is the last that we'll ever see of Biggs and Wedge. They served us very well, but now they're gone forever. Hope they didn't change the translations here like they did for Chrono Trigger. So this one is based off of Woosley's translations. I don't know how many liberties they took with it, but we shall find out. So yeah, big explosion, and then we wake up in some bed inside the city. And this is our first player character. And we gotta go talk to this guy, but neat little item hidden in a clock for us there. So this gentleman removed the crown from us, and now we're like all dizzy and sick and stuff. And apparently this was a slave crown that we were wearing that was like controlling our thoughts and actions. And as we recover, we'll start to remember things and hopefully feel a little better and that good stuff. So this is our first character, a mysterious young woman born with the gift of magic and enslaved by the Gastolian Empire. Terra, I'm not using a keyboard, and I'm not sure what button it wants me to press. Oh, there we go. Terra. Okay, perfect. That was a little bit weird. I'm sure we'll be fine for the next one, right? So, yeah, we already remember our name, which is good because apparently this guy has a lot of experience with these slave crowns. I don't know, but he's like, that's faster than most people. Unfortunately, now the guards are here because our player character here was piloting the Magitech armor that came in and roasted their friends and family. So that's not so great. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to get out of here. We're going to take a little exit out the back here, and there's a little bridge conveniently running across the town, and we're going to go back into the mines. Gosh. This really, truly is a blast from the past kind of feeling. Now, the cool thing about Terra is that we were just talking a couple of minutes ago about how magic has disappeared from the world. Well, there are apparently some people that still have access to it. So there's number one. Terra can use magic, which makes her a little bit different than everyone. So I can't remember if I want to grab these boxes or not, but I'm going to guess we probably don't. The battle system in this game is based on like an active time battle, but it's very close to a turn-based system. I'm just going to leave these for now. I think I'll grab them later. A lot of the chests in the game will change and have different stuff inside them depending on when you get them. We're going to turn our battle speed up. And I need to check and see what's my fast forward button. Don't I have a fast forward button? Well, whatever. We'll figure it out. Terra's giving you Sephiroth vibes. That's not a good start. Oh no! So there's that. Not off to a good start for poor Terra. Falling through a hole in the floor rather, and passing out. So now we're gonna get a nice little cutscene. Kefka says, "My sweet little magic user, wee hee hee. With this slave crown, you'll be all mine." Definitely a good guy over here. Kefka's laugh is one of the greatest sound clips of all time in my experience. Both of them have fabulous hair. That's very true. Terra was the character chosen when they made Dissidia Final Fantasy, which is like a fighting game. Terra was chosen to represent Final Fantasy VI, so there's actually some really well rendered like 3D art of her, like official stuff, which is really cool. But she has blonde hair and like everything except her sprite. So we're going to get a little speech here from Gestalt. "Soldiers of the Empire, we stand at the dawn of a new age. The lost power of magic has returned to us." Yeah, so these are not the good guys, actually. We thought we were the good guys, but they're going to claim rightful dominion over the world, so... whoops. Anyway, there's Terra's little flashback. Now we're gonna get a new character. And this is some baller music too. "A treasure hunter and trail-worn traveler searching the world over for relics of the past." There we go. I don't know why the first one was so weird on the keyboard, but whatever. So yeah, this is Locke, who disdains the title... What was it? Dungeon diver? Thief? He's an adventurer, that's all that matters. And apparently, these people have been talking about Terra for a while. And what this old man wants us to do is kind of get this girl to do what they want. She was controlled by the Empire, and they're like, well, we can help you. We'll show you a better way. And that didn't really materialize because she was getting chased by the guards. So we are now going to take over as Locke and then try and sneak her out of town. Love their little hand signal. It would just be flapping their arms in front of them. Yeah. They're just doing the wave, basically. It is kind of funny to watch them walk, too, and have their arms, like, flung out to the sides. That's something new with this version of the game. That didn't really happen in the old render. So we were talking about chocobos earlier, but there's another mascot creature that we're going to have to use in this game, and those are the Moogles. And these are like little fluffy, I don't really know, like little cat bear things with pink wings and pom-poms on their heads. And they are just hilariously adorable. I don't think I need an explanation, but I might not. Okay, there we go. So I want this guy to go have at least one fight. The guy at the top, Mog, is going to join us later, and we want him to experience at least one combat so that he can learn an ability. And then off we go. We'll take Locke through the rest. Like I said, I'm not interested in like grinding levels or anything like that, so we'll just be rushing through here. I might even take Mog down and fight the boss at the end, but I haven't decided yet. Depends on how this goes. Seems like a cash grab, expecting something on the level of Octopath. I mean, this game was like $12 for me, so I'm content. I honestly was hoping to see something along the lines of a Final Fantasy VII remake for Final Fantasy VI at some point. That would be fabulous. Will that ever happen? I'm sure I don't know. Let's actually switch out. We'll take Mog down and take care of the rest. Oh, you know what? Actually, I don't want Mog to fight the final battle because I want to steal his equipment. So let's just clear the area out, grab Mog's gear, and then we'll just... I don't even know if I need to do this. I'm not going to bother. Yeah, like I said, we'll clear things out a little bit, and we'll end up taking Locke down to fight the boss. Sweet. Seeing the new Pokemon game. Are we talking about cash grabs? I actually really liked Arceus. I liked Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl as well, but they were very, very subpar as far as like quality goes, in my opinion. Super, super fun, but was it mostly nostalgia? Possibly. And anyway, I don't care if these Moogles that are traveling with us die. Doesn't matter. They're not joining us permanently, so that's why we're kind of just letting them soak hits. They unfortunately do not matter. Okay. So that's all good. And then, like I said, we're going to take Mog's equipment. He's a permanent character. We'll get him later. We can't take the equipment off the other Moogles because they kind of don't really exist. But we can take the stuff from Mog, and we'll actually be able to use some of that later. Actually, I might be able to use that shield now. Yeah, we'll take that right away. No, I just want to sort. Sorry, got to get used to a little bit of a difference in the menus. Okay, let's do that. And that. And we'll bring you back up. And we're also going to put these guys in their back rows. We might actually pull this one up front. And we'll see how this goes. Love all the pun names. They have some silly names for sure. We'll see, see how this ends up going for us. Could be kind of nasty. A lot of times you want to rush through here and try to avoid those fights so that you don't have to waste like any healing, like restorative items. There we go. Not too bad. The other thing that's kind of nice is we threw everyone in the back row. Oh, and we got a good knife. Fantastic. I didn't actually expect to get that, but it's worth trying. But we threw everybody in the back row. They take half damage. They also deal quite a bit less damage, which kind of stinks, but ended up working out for us. If you have issues with that part, you know, you can load back up to Terra and grind a little bit, get some more items. It's not a tough fight, but when you're flying through the game without doing any kind of grinding, I mean, it's still not a tough fight, but it's kind of a gut check. Anyway, William, yeah, that's, I would say, not a bad first Pokemon game. I thought it was super fun. I think it's a great direction for the series to be going in. I think they've stumbled upon something that is going to be amazing in the future. I don't think it's visually the most amazing game I've ever played, but the formula's there now, and the gameplay is amazing. Oh, anyway, so yeah, Terra is still recovering from the like slave crown, but we've made it to the edge of the town through this little secret passage, and Locke, the smooth talker, says, "I won't leave your side until your memory returns." Okay, I'll keep you safe, I promise. And that'll be a kind of recurring theme. There was not a whole lot of like stuff you could do, I guess, as far as like showing emotion or like change to people's faces in games when this came out. So they used like just the blinking of sprites a lot. That's something we'll see a ton in this game, which is really funny. So this is like the little intro house where if you haven't played before, you can get a lot of help with different concepts in the game. We're just going to loot it real quick, grab all the items, and then we'll be on our way. All right, one more room. Ugh. Cool. Story of Arceus was kind of boring, not close to Breath of the Wild visually. I think those are both true. But the gameplay, yeah, that's the thing. Like, the gameplay was aces. It was amazing. Is this game getting a remake like in FF7 style? Gosh, I hope so. Honestly, that would be huge for me. I don't know that I think there are a lot of people that would be really excited. The fan base is nowhere near the level of 7 or let's see, what else would be higher than this? Probably 10 and then 14, I would guess. Maybe. But for those of us that are really jazzed for 6, a remake would be amazing. We're going to hang out for just a second. I'm going to try and get... No? Okay. I was going to say I was going to try and get some potions. I'm also trying to figure out how to speed it up, because I can see the fast forward button, but checking the controls didn't show anything, so I don't know yet. Really weird to be walking diagonally in this game. That wasn't an option. Oh, I don't have it set to memory. I should switch that. Okay. One sec here. Cursor memory on. We're gonna go back up, heal, and then we'll go down into that little desert down there. I was kind of worried seeing this for the first time, or at least some of the images. Because all of the pixel art rather, all the pixel art looked like really bright and kind of a little almost washed out. And I think that was just because I was used to seeing it on like an old CRT. So you kind of made the images look a little different, knowing that they were going to be put on a TV that kind of had its own limitations. I'm actually really happy with the way this looks. But yeah, it's no Final Fantasy VII Remake, that is for sure. Does Final Fantasy have some large overarching plot? No, not at all. Yeah, they're going to be different from game to game. Sometimes there'll be like little callbacks and references, but that's about the closest you ever get to anything referencing. And there are a couple that have sequels, I guess. Like there's 10 and 10-2, and then the 13 series had 3 games. Oops. But for the most part, you can just dive into whichever one. Okay, off we go. So this is our next destination, a little desert in the middle of the sands. We're going to fight one more battle, because I would like to get another antidote if I can. And then we'll pop into this castle. See what we got here. God, we're getting worked by these guys, though. Okay, I think we're gonna run away, actually. Okay. We'll be able to heal once we get inside, so no worries there. Favorite one? This is probably my favorite, I would say. I would say, let's see, 6... 4, 10, 7, 9, 14. That not in a particular order. Those would be all of my favorites. So this guy looks pretty important, but we can just walk up and talk to him. The king sitting on a throne. You mean this young woman is something? Oh, my apologies, he says. How rude of me to turn my back to a lady on our very first meeting. Yeah. So, the young king of Figaro Castle, imperial ally and champion of the technological revolution. Aren't the Imperials the bad guys? Yes. This is Edgar, the king of Figaro. And since he gets a name, you gotta assume he's gonna be joining us as well. His art is pretty different, it feels like, compared to like the old releases. 3 reasons he's gonna help us. First of all, Terra's beauty has captivated him. Second, he's dying to know if he's Terra's type. And her abilities, like being able to cast magic, would rank a distant third. So that tells you all you need to know about Edgar. Guess my technique's getting a bit rusty. Yeah, he's a little bit of a playboy. Terra, though, doesn't get it. She's not about that life. Oh, so we do have a little dash. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it was very, very green. Like, the green of these soldiers would be like the same as like his cape and stuff. So, a little interesting. I'm fine with, you know, a little bit of an overhaul. We can get used to it, but we'll see how we like it. So at this point, we can just kind of like wander around the castle. We could do a little shopping, but we're not going to, because we'll be able to get a discount if we do some shopping with these guys later. And, I mean, I don't really need much. I might want to buy... I can't remember if I get the Bio Blaster or not. I'm going to take a look real quick. I'm literally going to look it up. After obtaining the item... Okay, you either have to buy it or steal it. So, yeah, we're just going to buy one now so I don't have to worry about getting a hold of one. I won't... Oh, it even says I already have Edgar's stuff. Okay, we need a Noise Blaster. We need a Bio Blaster. We already have an Auto Crossbow. Nothing I really need to steal. Or sell, rather. We could have sold some weapons, but I think I'm just going to hang on to some stuff for now. We don't really need any restoratives. So yeah, this is Figaro Castle. Castle in the Sands, the most advanced structure in the world. We're going to just kind of proceed with the story. But I do want to talk to some people first. Our king showers his attention on women, young, old, pretty, or plain. No one is safe. What a man. Not too long ago, the king tried to hit on the high priestess. Did she ever let him have it? Wow. Not good, my dude. Alright, over here we're going to get a little bit more story. I just want to talk to you on the Chocobo. Okay, that's cool. I do like the Chocobos. They look pretty neat in this edition. His Majesty said he'd marry me when I got old enough. They're really laying it on thick. Like, we know what Edgar's about. So here's the aforementioned High Priestess. Edgar has a twin brother, you know. He was such a nice boy, always thinking of his family. The sad music. Edgar, what's wrong with Dad? Why is everyone talking about a successor? Uh-oh. Are you blind? Haven't you seen how thin his face has become? What do you mean? So Edgar runs away, and his brother says, "Are you crying?" Edgar's twin brother who traded the throne for his own freedom. This is Sabin. Again, since we're naming him, you probably assume that we're going to be controlling him at some point. But we'll find that we get to name people before they're like joining our party pretty frequently. He was just a boy when he left. Wonder where he is, what he's doing now. So that was kind of what we were supposed to do. Now we can actually just go back up to the throne room and talk to the king again and proceed with the story. It's kind of funny. When you watch from behind, her arms look different than when she's walking forward. When she's walking forward, they're straight to the sides. And then when she's walking away from the camera, they're like flailing. Looks a little dopey, to be honest. Well, how do you like my castle? Well, it's alright. That's the music I was waiting for. So Kefka here is coming to visit the castle on Emperor Gestal's orders, and he is not happy to be coming out to the middle of a desert for no reason. He tells his little lackeys there's sand on his boots, and they're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, we'll just wipe those off for you, buddy." All gone, sir. The amazing Kefka laugh. Pathetic idiots. Kefka's pretty obviously not a good dude. Just throwing people out of his way as he makes his way into the castle. And now we actually have control over Edgar. We're going to give him the Mithril Spear. This is the item we took from Mog a little while ago. We'd be able to get some different weapons for him pretty soon here, but that's a nice little addition to our equipment. So Edgar says, "You wouldn't be thinking of invading my kingdom next, would you? We have an alliance." And they're like, "Yeah, don't care. Alliances are for losers." What brings Emperor Gestal's own court mage Kefka to his humble castle? So they're looking for Terra. Oh, I love the strings coming in the background. Anyway, Edgar's like, "Well, I don't know. There's a lot of girls in here, so can't help ya." And Kefka makes some vague threats, but it seems like everything's all right. And we're thinking maybe we should figure things out here. Get her off to her room and make some plans. So off we go. Aha, we're so much faster than you. Anyway. Ah, yes, making people wipe the sand from his boots. How evil. Yeah, they really gotta just rub it in your face how he's so evil. But yeah, he's just a little weird. A little off in the head, you might say. Hey, Milku. How you doing tonight? So we'll run over here. We'll get a little bit more story, and then we're gonna be leaving the castle pretty soon here. Is it true you're a thief? He's a treasure hunter. People just gotta stop saying that. Anyway, here's the important stuff. On the surface, Edgar pretends to support the Empire, but the truth is he's collaborating with an underground resistance group called the Returners. So, that is the group that these guys want us to join, and Terra's like, "But I'm an Imperial soldier," but actually you were just wearing a slave crown. So, she's not so sure though. I mean, she's got amnesia, she just woke up, everyone's telling her she's got to do the right thing, but what's the right thing? So, we'll figure it out. You might be able to guess already. Hey, Delannister. What in tarnation? The brick castle is on fire. There is nothing flammable up here, and yet here we are. So apparently Kefka lit us up. What do you think you're doing? Get her ready. I don't know what that means, but we're getting her ready. So, yeah, at this point, Edgar's like, we're going to abandon ship. We're going to jump on some chocobos, and off we go. Which doesn't seem like a very brave thing to do, and Kefka says so. But you know what? Bravery is for losers, so... Terra and Locke are joining us. And we're going to ride our chocobo off into the sands. Yahoo! And the reason that they can get away with doing that is because this whole castle... Figaro dive mode engaged. This whole castle is actually like a mechanical apparatus. Witness the glory of Figaro. Off it goes. Doing good, Delannister. I'm really excited for this game. I've been hyped for this release for a long time. It's a classic. It's an oldie but a goodie. So yeah, the castle's gone. Off into the sand, so that kind of ruins his whole, like, kill it with fire plan. Nothing bad ever comes from siding with the Empire. Listen, if you're ever in a game and somebody's like, we're the Empire, you already know who the bad guys are. We'll do this real quick, too. And then we'll see if we can confuse these guys. Oh, they did keep it in. I was thinking they would. So, what's the matter, Edgar? What made you jump? And she just cast fire. And, yeah, that's like a kind of a big deal because magic has been gone for hundreds and hundreds of years. So they're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Whisper, whisper. Tara, your name was Tara, right? I'm sorry. Anyway, they are quite surprised. And they're making a whole scene in the middle of battle. And the best part is that these Magitech soldiers that we're fighting are just like, okay. Thank you, Locke. Thank you, Edgar. A little wink. Swoon. And back to battle we go. So we'll let these guys also take care of themselves a little bit here. And that's all it takes. Easy enough. So how did you pick your profile pic, Leap? Well, why are you asking? Does it look familiar, William? I actually used some magicite from this game as a foundation or like an inspiration and then built like a geometric thing out of it. Who are those people? I'm scared. Magic is going to be the key to winning this war, and Tara's still like, I don't know if I want to help win this war. And then Edgar says, no human is born with magic, which is not what you want to hear when you can cast spells. So they are trying to say basically, Tara, we need to go meet the returners because the Empire is going to hound you just because you can cast spells. So come with us. We'll take you there. You can make your own decision. But you cannot stay here. Interesting. So we got to find this little cave, and this will be our next little dungeon area. And from here on, we're actually going to start putting people in the back row. I probably should have done this a little earlier. Is Locke the only one hurt, really? Oh, no, they both are. Okay. Okay. Cool. Off we go into the cave. This was another section where I wasn't playing with my dad, but he was very confused. So if you come here before doing all of that and riding down here on the chocobo, this guy won't let you through. And my dad was ready to like throw the game away because he kept talking to this guy trying to figure out where he was supposed to go. Because he visited the castle, but he didn't talk to everyone, so he didn't trigger the little, like, nap time cutscene. So, it's a little embarrassing for him, I think. This is one of those places that I was talking about where the chests will end up changing depending on when we come through here, so we're actually going to just ignore them for now. We're going to skip, like, most of this place and just cruise through it as fast as we can. Inspired by this game? Yeah, absolutely. We probably won't see them tonight. I just don't think I'll get that far. But when we do see them, you'll definitely be able to tell. Like, no copyright infringement or anything. I made it, but it's heavily inspired. I figured out the fast forward, by the way. So we got that going for us. So we learned how to cure ourselves from poison. The great thing about Edgar is that in the early game here, he's the first person that we get that has an AoE attack where we can target like the entire field of enemies, and it doesn't cost anything. Like, it's resourceless, you know, so we don't have to worry about using up our MP or like healing or anything. He can just use his auto crossbow or his bio blaster, target all of our enemies. But we don't need to grind, so we'll keep moving here. Yeah, so that's South Figaro Cave. It's a pretty quick dungeon. We'll be back through there a couple of times, though. These guys can be kind of useful. Maybe we'll actually see what we can steal here. At least I believe they have something that's good. I think they have... Oh, never mind. Okay. Well, that's fine. Okay, off he goes. Anyway, I thought those guys had like a piece of equipment that we could use. So we got another city here, South Figaro. Got a creepy ninja guy going for the bar. Obviously, we'll follow him because that's interesting. We get this like spaghetti western twanging music. You look just like that student of Duncan's. Okay. Man at the counter's got a nasty look about him, and he brought his service animal in here. They're a little worried about how safe it's going to be. We're learning about Duncan. I want to remake a Breath of Fire 4. I have sadly not played the Breath of Fire games. I feel like I played a little bit of 2. So if we try to talk to this guy, we don't really get much out of it because it's just not time yet. He comes and goes like the wind, swearing allegiance to no one. Hidden behind his wintry gaze lies a face known to none who live. And that's Shadow. Shadow, all right. He's an assassin. He'd kill his own best friend for the right price. That's a sad translation because it used to say he'd slit his own mother's throat for a nickel, which I thought was a little more indicative of how bad he is. Kind of a bummer. Well, let's go to the inn. Actually, I don't think we need to. Hey, buddy. Okay. So down here we have the relic shop, which is actually pretty interesting. I don't know that we'll need to buy, like, the shoes that he's talking about. And we're not gonna... Guess we have to watch this, but... Relics are kind of interesting. So they're like accessories, I guess. And you can do some really broken stuff with them, depending on the combinations. Now, I don't know if that'll be true for this version of the game, but it definitely was in the past. Delannister taken off. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, we want one of those. I think that's it. I don't think I want to buy any sprint shoes. Just kind of, like, I can hold down the sprint button. So, doesn't seem like I need it, you know? I'm going to run around real quick and just talk to people, see what the translations are like. What kind of dummies would make the Empire mad? Interesting that it shows a little marker when there are items in places now. Huh, that's kind of fun. As far as equipment goes, I'm not sure that we need a whole lot of other stuff. We could grab a sword for Terra, but I don't know that I care enough. Yeah, let's grab a sword for her, because then we can pass her weapon on over to Locke. And then we'll take a look real quick at armor. I can get some headbands. I can steal those in the place coming up here, so We'll grab that for you. That for you. Couple shields and that might be it. Okay. And away we go. Look at this little kid. Did you see how Figaro Castle moved? No, because it was under the sand. I guess that makes sense. So we don't really need to go in here at all. But what's kind of interesting about this place is that this is like a really nice mansion, and there are some very well-to-do folks here. City's eastern border, so attacking from there would... What? Hey, what do you think you're doing? Barging in here when I'm trying to write a letter. So this dude, this rich dude right here, is currently writing a letter about what would happen if people attacked the city from the east. I wonder if that'll be relevant. And then later on, there's a little secret. We'll not go down here for now, but we will be going down there eventually. Anyway, yeah, that guy's a snake. That kid's pretending to be Magitech armor. My dad's super important. So important. My dad is super important. So important people come here for dinner all the time. Even General Lee. I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, so these guys are just total traitors. But unfortunately, there is nothing that we can do about it. So off we go. And yeah, honestly, we don't have anything else that we need, so we're going to start heading to the next dungeon, which is called Mount Colts. And we'll make a quick pit stop up here. There's a little house up here where we can rest up. It's called Duncan's Cabin, and Duncan, we just heard about him. He's training his pupil and another boy. What's that smell? These flowers. He always liked these. These dishes, they're just like the ones he always used. This tea, it was his favorite. Rest for a bit? Yeah, we're gonna rest up. This way I didn't have to spend any money at the inn in South Figaro. And then, yeah, something's up about this place. Could Sabin be living here? Hey, you happen to know where I can find the man who lives here? Left a couple of days ago as soon as he heard Master Duncan had been killed. Pretty spooky. That's not a very, strong reason for us to go to the mountains, but we were already headed that way because we had heard that that was the way to go to get to the returners. So we're going to be heading up into this mountain pass here. Okay, yeah. Don't like back attacks. Would prefer to not have those ever because those are going to put us in the front row. Like, all of our people are in the back, so they do a little less damage, but they take less damage. And at this point in the game, because we're just kind of cruising through things, we don't have a lot of, spare HP, so rather keep them where they are. I'm also just going to set everybody to, automatically do their thing. Tara's going to be just attacking with her knife for now, or her sword, I guess. She has a sword now. And then we'll have Locke stealing, and Edgar will be doing pretty much all of the damage, so not going to be a ton that Tara is actually accomplishing, but Locke is going to be getting us hopefully some restorative items. We also got a decent little weapon for him here. Probably didn't even need to buy the sword in town, but whatevs. Shania, welcome in. Never played this game before, but here I am. It's a good one. It's very different than the usual vibe that we go for, because it's turn-based. old school JRPG, but it was a really important game for me as a kid. It was something I played with my family, so it's got a special place in my heart. But yeah, if you're just getting here, basically the story so far is this girl Tara in the middle with the green hair. We started the game with her, and she was being like controlled by a group of soldiers. They brought her into a town, and then she and those soldiers traveled through the town, kind of like beating people up / killing them on their way to these mines at the edge of town, because I think they found a creature there that could cast spells or do magic. And magic has been gone from this world for a millennia. So that's a really big deal. Especially if you're an evil empire that wants to control magic to conquer the world. And if that doesn't make sense, that's fair. Final Fantasy VI is the best. It's a good one. It's a good one, yo. I don't think we want to give that to anyone. Oh, actually, yeah, we'll give that to you for now. So we just got a relic that's going to equip physical attack damage. We'll give it to Tara because Locke is mostly stealing at the moment, so it doesn't really matter. And speaking of stealing, I'm going to confuse these guys. Or I was going to confuse them, and then I messed up. What I'm hoping to do here is just fast forward confusion and defending and stealing, because these guys have a little helmet that'll increase, I think it's our HP, I can't remember, it might not even be an HP item, but it's a helmet that's better than anything we have, so. I only just noticed, but you pronounced my name differently than I used to, and I nearly didn't realize that you're talking to me. Is there a way that you would prefer I pronounce your name? Because if I'm not pronouncing it right, I should know that. Well, this is just going swimmingly. The mine ninjas, I think they're supposed to be more like mine martial artists. Like they're going into the mountains to train, but we're a little limited with our pixel art here. This time we gotta actually, well, maybe we'll confuse these guys too. See what we can get out of this. A potion. Hey, random. So we're just kind of rushing through this mountain. We've heard that on the other side of this mountain is the, like, Returner's hideout. Look at that shrouded figure. Anyway, on the other side of this mountain is the Returner's hideout, and apparently those guys can kind of tell us about what's good and what's right in the world and help us come to a decision about how to help humanity. But also, we've heard that there might be somebody that Edgar knows here. Shania. Okay. I can do that. Which do you like more? But yeah, basically, we also heard that there might be somebody here or in this area that Edgar knows, and it's his brother that has been gone from their home for quite a while. So, you know, two birds, one stone kind of situation. Very convenient that the plot always drives us towards the important people in the game. Haven't stolen any headgear from these guys. I love the sprint button. I do have to say that's a fantastic addition. And honestly, on the whole, I think I'm fairly happy with this as a remake. Somebody was saying they were kind of expecting something on the level of Octopath. I didn't necessarily have that expectation. That would be amazing. I'd be pretty pumped for that. But just from what I've played so far, the soundtrack remaster has been stupendous, which was one of the best parts of the game to begin with. So that's a good start. All right. We are going to do a little trick that I learned a while ago, which is don't use your tent there before you save. Because if you die in this fight, and you've already used your tent, it makes healing a little difficult. So Tara got poisoned there, which she knows a spell that can get rid of that, but we also bought an item in the town called like the Star Pendant or something like that. I don't actually remember. But we can just equip that on her. And that'll get rid of her poison. And that's why I never buy antidotes in this game, really. Because as long as you have one of those items and you can make it to the end of a battle, you can just go ahead and heal then. So not really any reason that you necessarily desperately need to heal mid-battle. As far as status effects, not even status effects, but poison specifically is one that I usually just ignore. Oop, that's not good. I was about to say we should probably heal Tara pretty soon, though, because, like, we don't want her to go down and lose experience, but... Can't really afford for that to happen again, but again, that's why we didn't use the tent. And we are just kind of flying through this. Like, I'm not a speedrunner of this game. I'm not using any, like, optimizations, but I would say we're going moderately quickly. Shania is fine. Okay. You got it. Let me know if I mess it up at any point, though, because I may. I'll do my best, though. Shouldn't happen more than a couple times. Okay, these guys are starting to get a little annoying, to be honest. But coming up here, we have the guy that we've been chasing. And it doesn't look exactly like the sprite that we saw when we were in the castle. So, not really sure who that might be. We are going to heal up real quick because, well, I know who it is. And I know that we're going to end up fighting him. Who are you? Is Sabin here? You were the one sneaking around us all the way up here, weren't you? And what if he was? Well, it doesn't matter who you are. I have no intention to surrender. Woe is the day you met me. It'll be the last day of your lives. We didn't do anything to this guy, by the way. But apparently he does not like us, so here's our, what, second boss fight, I think? Is this our second one or our third one? We'll see how it goes. That's the one we're worried about. We want to make sure that we can survive those, because that Gale cut is pretty nasty, actually. And in my low-level run, that was like a pretty quick way to just party wipe, so we don't want to get hit with a whole bunch of those if we don't have to. So we get rid of his little protective bears real quick. We stole a high potion from one of them, and then we're just going to try and trounce Vargas. But unfortunately, this battle is kind of a scripted one, so we just need to survive long enough to do a fair amount of damage here, and then we'll move on to the next phase. That's not what we like to see. Enough of this, so here we go. He's gonna send us all to the great beyond. So here's Sabin, here to protect us. Why, Vargas? Why did you kill Master Duncan? How could you murder your own father? What? Fool snubbed me, his only son. He chose you as a successor. What? That's not true. It is true. There are some points of this game where it's like, what's happening and why? So anyway, Sabin is trying to convince Vargas that he was meant to be the successor to like their martial arts school, but Sabin's unfortunately not able to convince his rival Vargas. So we're gonna have to fight him again. And actually, all you have to do to win this fight is to know what the blitzes are, which are Sabin's like specials. But if you don't know what they are, you can die here because there's a little timer over our head, and once it counts down, oh, I don't even have to input them. Interesting. Oh, it just tells me. Okay, well, anyway, they're all like printed in the instruction manual. Okay, that's what we did. Okay, interesting. So they're all printed in the instruction manual. It's left, right, left, B, Raging Fist. Ah, you already learned that technique? Well, that was a little weird, so I guess we were supposed to attack him first or something? I don't really know. Anyway, for the third or fourth time, they're all printed in the book. And so you were supposed to like come into this fight and attack him once, and then he'd be like, why don't you use your special technique? And then you were just supposed to know what it was from reading the book. Does this version include the GBA extra content? I do not believe it does. First, I thought you were another one of Vargas's bears. You thought I was a bear? So there are a few changes to the translation. She used to call him like a wandering bodybuilder or something. I don't really remember. Anyway, Sabin is going to join us now as we head to the Returner's hideout. So we'll dash our way over there. And then we're going to have one of the first kind of like split off points of the game where we'll end up taking control of different parties for a few different points. Yeah, we never used our tent actually. All right, there we go. And I'm actually going to take the glove we got earlier, and I'll give that over to Sabin. Change his equipment real quick. And we're going to hang out outside here for just a moment. Want to raise a little tiny bit of cash and maybe grind up a level or two. Actually, maybe we should wait. Come out here with Bannon. We'll see. We'll see. Well, that's not what you like to see. See, I think we'll just go in after this to the Returner's hideout. That's like the next story point of the game, so be able to learn some good stuff in there. I'm sure it'll be super interesting. It's pretty neat to be able to play this game like kind of normal. Because the last time I played through it was It was for my channel, but it was a long time ago. And I was playing with like an experience restriction, so I didn't fight any random battles that, well, like if they were random, I didn't fight them. The only experience that I got was from unavoidable stuff. But bosses don't give you experience in this game, so the average level of our characters by the end of the game was about where we're at right now. We're at level 9 and 10. Most of my characters were like level 8 or 9, and a couple of them were a little higher. My Steam just said that I went offline, but my stream health is still good, so I think I'm just going to keep going. If anybody notices anything strange, just let me know if you could. And I'm going to take a sip real quick. Okay, so we're here to see Bannon, the leader of the Returners, and everybody's just kind of like ushering us through. And this is him. That's an ugly little cape he's got, in my opinion. So, it seems like the Empire had complete control over Terra, and the Esper that we ran into at the beginning of the game reacted to her. Bannon kind of knows what's been going on. He heard that she wiped out 50 Imperial soldiers in minutes, probably with her magic. But she doesn't remember that. But Bannon's also kind of a jerk, so he's going to tell us the story of Pandora's box. How when the world was young, somebody opened a box and let out all the evils into the world, and the only thing that remained in there was light. And he is basically saying that Terra is that light, the only thing that can save this world. So no pressure, you know. And then he's like, "Oh man, I'm really tired," when they try to call him out on it. So great stuff. Thanks, Bannon. Now we're supposed to walk around, talk to everybody, and kind of figure out why they joined the Returners. For Locke, it was because the Empire took away someone important to him. And Terra says, "Well, I don't have anyone important to me." And he says, "Well, you don't actually know that, do you? Because you lost your memory." But whatever. How long have I had this channel? I started this channel in April of 21. We're going to loot this place because, well, if they want us to join them, then they better be willing to give us all their stuff. This is a handy little thing right here. You didn't used to see a path. You used to just have to walk through here in the dark and kind of bump around and figure out where you were going. So I appreciate that. Bannon any relation to Ganon? Probably. He is kind of a jerk. I don't know that he's like an evil pig guy, but he is a jerk. Sabin's opinion on why we should join the Returners is, I don't know, because my brother said so. So, that's cool. And so, yeah, we just got to go find Edgar, and then I think we'll go outside after that. Might as well save as long as we're up here. Yeah, here we go. It's not easy asking so much of you, and if we force our ideas on you, we're no different than the Empire, so we want you to decide for yourself. They're doing a great job of making us feel like it's our decision. Bannon, he went outside just a moment ago. So what's really fun here is we talk to Bannon, and he's like, "Will you become our last ray of hope?" And we say, "No, thank you." I see. And then you know what we're going to do? We're going to go outside again, and we're going to say, "Will you become our last ray of hope?" No. I thought as much, he says. And we're going to do one more time. We're going to come out here. And we know we will absolutely not become your ray of hope, you crusty old man. So there's really no convincing you? Well, you just haven't made a very good argument. How could anyone put their hope in me? So sad. You can say yes there, and I think the game kind of expects you to, but there's actually a reward for saying no. What's wrong? What's happened? Not good, not good. We even got the music. Those wounds, they're horrific. South Figaro? The Empire's taken South Figaro. Oh my gosh, we were just there. So they found us. We haven't a moment to lose. Someone has to sneak into South Figaro to slow down the enemy, so Locke is going to go do that. Wait for me, I won't be gone long. And watch out for a certain lecherous young king who shall remain nameless. Moves in like a hawk. Old habits die hard, eh? Yeah, so anyway, Edgar is it's a bit of a womanizer, like we were saying. So we're supposed to escape down the river and make our way to that very first city that we were in, actually. We're going to go figure out what's going on with that Esper that we ran into. Which is pretty cool. We said we didn't want to help, but now we kind of don't have a choice. So this little guy over here is going to give us an item. He's going to give us a Genji glove. If we would have accepted earlier, we would have gotten a gauntlet, which lets you hold one weapon in 2 hands, which is pretty cool. It increases the damage you do with that weapon, which can be pretty handy-dandy. But if you say no, you get that Genji glove instead. And the thing with the Genji glove is that it lets you equip 2 weapons, 1 in each hand, which is kind of awesome. If I had 2 weapons for Sabin, I would probably give it to him, but I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't. So we'll give it to Terra, and then Bannon is at level 6, which is not bad. I want to say he was at like level 2 in my low level game, and if he dies, it's a game over. So we might take just a second out here. I don't even know if I need to. Like, level 6 is pretty good. Maybe I'll check his stats, see how far away from a level up we are, because I might just want to roll with this. Bannon has the ability to do like a resourceless heal across the whole party. It's not very strong. It's called Prey. And it recovers a little bit of HP to everyone. So you could potentially grind this out and get him up to some pretty decent levels. Because his experience... let me roll this back. So kind of the point of the low level game is to beat the game at a low level, which makes sense. But there are some people whose levels don't really matter. Every time you get a new character, their level is decided by the levels of all of your other permanent characters. So if Sabin, Locke, Edgar, and Terra are all at a high level, the next person we get will also be at a high level. But if Bannon is at like max level, it has no effect on anyone else in the game, because he's not considered like a core member of the party. So what I ended up doing for that run was I like fought through the battle until only one enemy was left, killed all of my allies, and then had Bannon win the fight so that he would gain all of the experience. It's very tedious and it's pretty silly, but it works. How did he beat the game with such low levels? In the beginning of the game, you just have to run away from everything. You have to be very strategic with your item use and your equipment. And then once you get towards the end of the game, some of the spells that you can cast do a kind of silly amount of damage no matter what level you're at. So it kind of came down to like optimizing our equipment, getting the right espers to teach us the right magic, running away from battles, and eventually getting items that would allow us to not have to fight. And yeah, since bosses don't give you any experience, you can get through the whole game with just a few forced battles. It was a good time. It was really fun. All right, off we go. We're going to go to Narsh. If Bannon falls, we lose, so we just saved. Hey, Leap just joined. Is Mater from Cars in this game? Mater from Cars is not in this game. Sorry. Can we use that already? Wow. No, unfortunately, Mater from Cars not going to be making an appearance this time, but let's see. There are there cars? I mean, there's minecarts. There's minecarts at some point. That's pretty close. No, please. I was supposed to go left there, I believe. I was grabbing a drink of water and just mashing buttons, but that's alright. If I went the wrong way, it'll just loop us back. I honestly don't remember. You get your own minecart. No, it's kind of like an escape scene. We'll get our own airship. That's pretty cool. One of them's called the Falcon, I think, and the other one's called the Blackjack. Those are almost like cars. Lots of good experience here. So one of the things that you can also do at this point in the game is, I think it's actually at the next pass, you can just turn on like a... What am I trying to think of? You can turn on like a turbo controller, basically. And if Bannon is set to prey and everybody is set to attack, you can just rake in the experience points and just let your game run overnight and get up to like a level 99, which is pretty silly. But also there's a little bit of a problem with that plan, because we'll find out later that we can increase our stats at level ups by equipping certain things. But we don't have any of those things yet. So if we get everybody up to like max level at this point, yes, they'll be at a really high level, but they'll be really weak compared to how strong they could be. So yeah, we won't be doing that. Also, it's boring, so there's that. But I probably should be fast forwarding through these battles because they're pretty unimportant. Who's the guy with the cool glasses? That is the blind effect. That reduces our accuracy. It didn't used to work, actually. I don't know if it does in the Pixel Remaster. So that could be a problem, because I'm not used to caring about that, so I didn't buy anything to deal with it. Vents Imp and Silence. That's not what we need. Let's give you a white cape, though. Actually, let's give that to... Yeah, that's fine. You can have that. And you can have this. And back we go. Yeah, anyway, that's the blinded condition. It's supposed to reduce your accuracy. It didn't actually do anything at all in the Super Nintendo game, which was kind of a theme. A lot of the coding just didn't really work the way it was supposed to. So you could kind of ignore a lot of things. For example, one of the best parts about that game, or like the most broken parts, is you have a stat for evasion, which is like, yeah, when somebody tries to attack you with a physical attack, your evasion is supposed to be like the % chance that they don't hit you, right? And then you have magic evasion, which is the same thing. But they didn't actually set up two values. So your magic evasion was the only one that mattered. So the game would calculate the odds that you get hit the same way. So if you maxed out your magic evasion, you know, a single target spell could not hit you, but also a single target attack could not hit you. Which definitely is a helpful way to get through the game when you're trying to do those kind of like low level runs. Some really rad sunglasses. I think they're pretty sweet. I especially like how when you're in the middle of like attacking, sometimes they like flip up a little bit. It's almost like they're raising them to look out from underneath them. Is there always a bucket here? Oh, it's a little healing bucket. Wow. Easy mode. GG's. This game sounds busted. I think a lot of that has been fixed in quite a few of the releases since then, but there's a lot of fun stuff like that that you used to be able to do. That's why I can't really rely on any of my like old tricks. Even in the Game Boy Advance version, which came out quite a few years back, a lot of that stuff had been taken care of already. You could still do some weird and wacky stuff with it, but just not the same kind of weird and wacky stuff. I probably should have switched Terra's equipment. She'd be better off having a shield like really soon instead of 2 weapons. But I guess we'll see how it goes. I really like the backgrounds that they added into this game. And what I'm really, really happy about actually is how much better it looks than the old mobile release. Because they did a just kind of hacked together trash mobile release a while back. And the game is amazing, and the game was still really fun, but it did not look good. Alright, so we got Ultros here. This is kind of like the, I don't know, like the meme boss of the game, maybe? He's going to show up a whole bunch of times throughout the game, and he's usually more like comedic than dangerous. But depending on where you're at this point in the game, he can actually be pretty tough. I don't think we'll have any real issues with him, though. I think we'll just unload real quick, keep Bannon healing us up. This is kind of weird, though. It says, I'd love to get my tentacles around her. Slurp. In reference to Terra. So that's a whole sentence. So obviously we want to get rid of him pretty quick after that. But yeah, basically this is going to be a pretty quick fight. We're just going to use fire with Terra. We're going to use blitzes with Sabin. Those are his strongest attacks. Edgar, we're just going to use the auto crossbow. Even on a single target, that's going to be stronger than his physical attacks. Then Bannon is just going to use his prey ability, which is just constant health regeneration. I would say we're probably pretty close, actually. I love how when you're walking around, you only have one of the 4 characters. That's kind of a silly like trope or meme or whatever. It's like, where do they go? They just hop into your little pocket or jump in your backpack or whatever? Or yeah, did they just merge with you? There we go. Sploosh. Glub glub. Clipping you saying that? Do it. You won't. So anyway, yeah, they're afraid that he's just kind of hanging out down there. Something stuck to Terra's leg. Pretty nasty stuff. And then Sabin is like, you know what I should do right now? I'm gonna kill this thing with a blitz in the water. But we're on a raft. Any second now, he'll flop back up onto the raft, right as rain. What? So yeah, Sabin's gone. See you later, dude. That's kind of going to happen a lot. We're going to be switching between different party members as we play this game pretty frequently. I think so. We'll have the choice here, and we can pick between any of these scenarios. Typically, you want to save Sabin's for last. I think we'll probably do. I think we'll do this one first. Sabin's is the longest by far. So we're going to continue down the river with Terra, Edgar, and Bannon. This one goes pretty quick. Is this the ultimate version? This is the Pixel Remaster. It just came out today, so it's like the most up-to-date version. It's running on like the old Final Fantasy Super Nintendo translation from Ted Woosley for the most part. I have noticed a few changes already. But it doesn't include the extra dungeons at the end like the Game Boy Advance version did. To my knowledge, I don't think they are in, at least. So far it's been pretty good, I would say. The art is fantastic. Like the pixel art updates, I think have been really good for the most part. But I might be a little bit biased because I love this game. One thing that's really funny when I was playing this game last time was that we're on a raft, right? Like there's nowhere we can really go on the raft. There's just not a lot of room to navigate. But you do still have the option to run away from those fights. So like as you're traveling down the river, you can like turn around and run away and flee from battles in here. Does this include Celis's torture session? I don't know how they're going to handle the room with Celis. We didn't pick that scenario, but we'll be doing that one next. So I guess we'll see what's going on down there. Yeah, they like I said, I guess I don't know how they're going to handle that, but we'll be seeing it pretty soon. There's a part that this game came out before like ratings really existed. So there's a part coming up in maybe like, I don't know, half an hour that was a little nasty. So when we came through here a little while ago, we came out this little hole in the wall, and we're just going to go back in through the mines because we want to see that Esper that is at the end of the mines. But this place is going to be a cakewalk for us at this point because we're so strong compared to the first time that we came through here. Our levels are like doubled or higher, so should be a pretty quick jaunt through the mines. The other thing that we can do is sprint, which is just amazing. Yeah, like that's wild. Okay, so this room coming up is supposed to be like a little puzzle room. And what you're supposed to do in here is you have to follow this light, and you take this exact path. And if you don't, you get into an encounter. And that's fine. We actually do want to get into a fight. But we'll probably do it towards the end, because if you... Oh, does it send you back to the beginning of the room? I can't remember. Let's go find out. So I want to fight these dark sides. I did not want a back attack, though. That's not really what we were looking for. Great, good job. So we want to see these because later on we'll get to a place in the game where... Oh, okay, so it does start me over. I think there was something else if I press the right one, though. I can't remember if it just lets you continue on or if it's a different encounter, so we're going to try that real quick. Interesting. This game seems pretty easy. There is a significant difficulty spike in a while, but the early game is not too tough. And honestly, it'll never be like exceptionally difficult. A lot of this game is more about resource management. But we haven't reached the part of the game where that has really started to become an issue, so... The early game is a bit of a slog, which is why I appreciate the fast-forward option. I'm gonna guess something just made its way into my Discord. Is that what I'm seeing? It's all good. So here we are. We're back at the old man's house where we first woke up as Tara, except this time we have Edgar and Bannon with us. And I probably should have stolen everybody's equipment, but it'll probably be fine. So, Arvis here, this old man, is saying that everybody's a little worried since the Esper was discovered. Things might get worse since the King of Figaro is here. Hey, shenanigans. They think that Tara might be able to help get answers about that Esper, so we'll be trying to figure that out soon. Esper is either going to save us or dig us an early grave. That's the end of their little scenario. These two are both quite short. It's a clip of you talking about tentacles and slurping. I told you to do it. I don't... is what it is, you know? Okay, let's go do Locks. Locke has worked hard to stymie the efforts of the Imperial troops in South Figaro, but now he desperately needs to escape. This was your first Final Fantasy, and consider it one of the best titles in the series. That's amazing. I love this game so much, and yeah, I also think it's possibly one of the best ones in the series. So Locke's whole thing is that he is a thief, right? Or like an adventurer. When we talk to this guy, he even calls us a thief, and we're like, you can't call me that, because you want to know what I'll do? I'll steal a plumed hat, and I'll steal your clothes too. And the whole point of what we're going to be doing in this town is we're going to run around and we're going to change our outfit by stealing people's clothes. And that's going to allow us to get into different parts of the city that are like kind of gated off to just normal citizens. Not everybody can go everywhere right now. So we got our merchant's clothes on. Oh, I actually need to talk to... I think I have to actually win a fight against one of these. I don't know if I can. How did I get a back attack? I went up and talked to him. Can I even run from this? I can. Okay. Well, anyway. I don't know that I need to kill that, but I did need to see it. Taking off. Thanks for stopping in, dog. No cider, then what are you doing here? I do want to see a whole bunch of enemies. Whether I can actually beat them or not kind of doesn't matter for the most part. But we'll run into them later, and if I don't see them now, I won't be able to find them later, so... This version has a mini-map. Yeah, it's super neat. I like how it's like sepia-toned and everything. So far, I've been pretty happy with it. A couple minor gripes with the translation changes, but pretty good overall. Okay. We need to go up here and over to the left because there's a soldier in green armor, and why the green armor specifically matters, I don't know, but it does. We're going to steal this guy's armor. So many back attacks. So we stole a potion, and we stole his clothes too. Here we go. Bit too large, but he didn't charge. Ha 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 ha. Ugh. Alright, so we got our new gear here, which means now we can kind of talk to the soldiers a little bit more. Get back to your post. A lot of them aren't going to be very helpful, and I believe if I talk to this guy, he might even... Let's find out. Oh, no, he doesn't fight me. I thought he did. My bad. That idiot Kefka is about to invade Narsh. Oh, of course I know better than to call him that to his face. Oh, my shift is up already? Guess I'll take a break. So yeah, we can kind of... As we progress through here and get different like suits of clothing, we can gain access to different parts of the city. So we're going to go to the bar, because that guy earlier was just talking about cider. Now, of course, that wouldn't be alcohol, because this is a kid's game, right? So we'll just get some cider from this friendly merchant down here. Nothing? Okay. You came to steal my cider, didn't you, you dirty thief? He says to the soldier. But yeah, we did, so you're not wrong, buddy. Perfect. There we go. So, little change of clothes. We'll grab this cider, and then we'll go back and talk to that merchant with the secret passage in his basement. This version hooked me on Final Fantasy right up to 12. This really, truly was a good game. Still is, but was also. Alright, back in here we go, and we'll go up and talk to Peepaw. You're a merchant, right? Okay. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Welcome in, Connie, by the way. Okay, there we go. So, secret passage. Well, yes, there is a tunnel from here to the mansion on the north end of town. Go downstairs and tell my grandson the password is, I don't remember. Is this a kid's game? I mean, I think it's rated teen now. I actually don't know what it's rated on Steam. So this is kind of a cool little thing. The password is courage. But in Final Fantasy II, like the one we didn't actually get, Rosebud or like Rose something was a password for, like, it was a secret knowledge or like a keyword or a code word or something like that. So a little shout out to that. All right, let's grab an elixir here. Ah, yes, torture scene in the kids' game. I hope it's PG. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, so this game came out before there were like ratings, so I don't think it actually had a rating back then. But I believe it is rated teen now. And we'll see if what they did with the torture part, because it was literally like she was chained to a wall and getting punched in the stomach. So, oh, let's talk to this this scum of the earth. Oh, what have I done? I betrayed my town to the Empire. All I could think of was the money. Yep, you suck, buddy. Okay. Into the secret basement we go. And do we want to remove our disguise? Yeah, I think we want to be Locke. And we're going to come down here and grab a couple of things. Is there something else down here? Or am I thinking about later on the map? I think I am. I don't think that door used to be there. You used to just have to run down and accidentally run into it. So I think that's all we need for now. And then we'll look in here and let's see what we got. I know I've seen her before. Wait, she's one of the blah, 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 Empire's generals. This is what happens to traitors. Magitech Knight, forged by the Empire and tempered in battle. None have ever truly known the woman beneath the general's guise. Celis. Oh. There we go. So the mighty Celis has fallen. Not as far as those who'd use their strength to oppress the weak. Quiet. Kefka's planning to poison every last man, woman, and child in the kingdom of Doma. Shut up, he says. Run that mouth of yours while you still can. Your execution's tomorrow. Okay, so they pulled it out. So that was pretty mild. In the original release, yeah, they were like beating her up while she was like chained to the wall in here. Has some really heavy topics, really not kid-friendly. Not at all. It gets really, really dark in the world of Ruin. Hey, welcome in, Colleen. I saw that you joined, I think, even on this video, so welcome in. Thank you for joining at Parsnip. If you haven't linked up your Discord to your YouTube, you sure could. Get you into a different room. And then you'll also have some emotes now, which are super fun. And if you want to, you can find in the community posts. Just keep looking. Oh my gosh. You should be able to find in the community posts section where you can let me know if you want to be an animal in a Stardew Valley file. So yeah, we're going to find Celis, let her out, help her escape from this place because Locke is just like a sucker for a pretty face. And we'll sneak away from here. She needs to tell the returners what we just heard. Even if you got me out, you wouldn't be able to protect me, she says. I'm better off waiting here for the executioner. At least that way I'll keep my pride. But no. Locke can't let that happen. Well, they literally murdered the entire town. Too much for a kid's game. There's a lot of murder. We haven't even begun to murder yet. Let's go! This soldier might have something on him that could get us out of here. Super duper. Let's grab a clock key. Stealing is wrong. More soup and okay. This guy belongs on the Discord too. You're down so bad for Celis? No one could blame you for that, Asterisk. Asterisk, actually. Now that I look at it again. Alright, let's save real quick. And then I don't think Celis actually has any gear. Yeah, she doesn't have anything equipped when you get out of there. I think we do actually want the main gotch because that increases our ability to parry attacks. That'll be pretty useful. I think I actually needed a different weapon, though. We could be in trouble depending on if that weapon she has can use runic. So I guess we'll find out. Today I learned I can link my YouTube and Discord. You sure can, but you don't have to. For my YouTube members, it unlocks a special role. Okay. It unlocks a special role, and then that's kind of it. But anyone can do it. But if you're not a member on the YouTube, like of the YouTube channel, it doesn't necessarily do anything on my channel. Other places, it might do things for you. So Celis is a little bit like Terra in that she can use magic, but her situation is a little bit different. So we'll find out later why she can use magic, but it's not just because she was born with it, which is a little spooky. We can use runic, so that's good. That could have been kind of a problem. Dani got here just in time for the bad scene. Honestly, it wasn't too bad. Much worse in older versions of the game. These little dogs hit so hard. It's pretty wild. This part was a real challenge for me. Can you increase your walking speed in this version? We can actually hold down the cancel button to sprint, like with the effects of sprint shoes. So I don't have any sprint shoes. Like I just didn't buy any because I don't need to. Which is an amazing quality of life upgrade. Also the fact that you can see through the walls when you're like running around in these dungeons is pretty neat. But it does feel a little cheap. Okay. I think I might have missed a ribbon, but I can't remember exactly where it is. So we may need to come back for it at some point. Your technologically challenged grandparent. It's really not a big deal if you don't want to do it, or if you have struggles with it, but I'm guessing I could run you through it later if you'd like, if you don't get it figured out. I think you go to Discord, and then you'll do, like, linked accounts or something, and then it'll have you sign into your YouTube, but I'd have to be looking at it to be sure. Run away, little puppy. Alright, let's go up and around. There's a couple more pieces of equipment up here. I don't want to do this fight. We're not down for back attacks. Always jump into the worst scenes of Matt McCleskey's. Yeah, he's doing a stream for No Kids Hungry or something like that. Those guys reached out to me as well, and I just didn't know if I was going to be able to do anything this week. Like, when they reached out, Dani was pretty sick, and I didn't want to make any promises, but we might do something with them in the future. I should have used ice. It's under connections. There you go. So everybody in this game kind of has like a special ability that only they can do. Everyone can attack. At a certain point, everybody will be able to use magic. There are, you know, relics that can have you do different things. But everyone does have like one thing that only they can do. Locks is steel, for example. Celis's says runic. And that probably doesn't really mean too much to us yet because we haven't used it. We don't know what it means or what it does, but that'll be really, really key coming up here not too long from now when we get to a boss. Yeah, we'll take this fight. Tara didn't have one that we've seen so far. Hers, it'll be a while before we get hers. And then Edgar had tools, which are really, really good for most of the game, actually. I would say up towards the end, they kind of fall off, but for most of the game, they're quite powerful. So we'll end up using Edgar a lot. Steel is really cool as well. It's just not always the best use of our time. So why are you helping me? You remind me a lot of someone, but he doesn't want to talk about it. So yeah, off we go. That was our trip through Figaro. But we still need to get to the other side of this cave. So we're going to run through here real quick. And I think we'll grab one item out of here. That'll be pretty useful later. But we'll be leaving most of the stuff. Okay, we don't want to deal with that. Nope, that's bad. I don't know that I saved. So that's not good. Oh, there we go. That numb claw there, that inflicts stop, which is basically like just their free reign to wail on you. We could run away at any point. I'd be fine with that. Prefer if you didn't die here. Zealous. Alright, whatever. Well, Locke left, so that's fine. I don't have a ton of Phoenix Downs, actually. We probably won't be using a ton of those through the game, so there's not really any point in hoarding them. But yeah, like I said, we're going to grab one item out of here. There is going to be a really handy use for that in a little bit, so we might as well just grab it now. I think it turns into a pretty decent relic later in the game, but probably make use of it before then. Hate to see it. So I was talking earlier about how there will come a point in the game where we can like run into monsters that we have seen, right? And when you do that, one of the character's specials is that they can learn those monsters' abilities. So that... Oh wait, I was going to go get the Thunder Rod. I gave it away. Okay. So one character's ability is that they can learn the attacks of enemies or like use them in battle. You lose control of him while he's doing that, but he can do some really strong stuff with it. So those guys that are using that like numb sting or whatever it's called in this version, we can have him doing that against our enemies. How much longer do you plan to be live? Ooh, that's a good question. Probably about, I would say between 20 minutes and a half hour. We're coming up to a couple good breakpoints pretty quick here. Before we won't have one for a little while. We'll finish this scenario because it's actually almost done. Then we'll start the next one. But we're not going to finish that whole scenario tonight. Let's take this away. Okay, cool. Anyway, yeah, we won't finish the other scenario because that one's actually pretty long. It'll take a couple of hours. I'll get started with it, and I'll take it to... well, I know where I'll stop. It'll be right before Doma, but that might not mean anything to anybody. So this fight is going to be pretty boring, actually. We're just going to Runic, and what that's going to do is when this thing casts spells, it was supposed to absorb the MP, but it didn't do that, so now we're in trouble. Because I was in the middle of like executing using Runic again, the old one faded, so we could actually be in quite a bit of trouble here. Alright, Lock is still up. We'll use a potion real quick. We'll Runic again. And let's just take a second to... Oh, that's the end of Lock, I think. No, it wasn't. Okay. We're going to take a couple of rounds to heal up. Celis should still have a Runic up. There we go. So I don't want to just fly through this, letting them, like, auto-attack or whatever, because that's going to get us killed. Instead, I need her to have her Runic up at all times. This way, whenever that guy casts a spell, she'll just absorb the cost of that spell, like, in MP. And it won't do anything. We could actually break that rod that we found earlier, that thunder rod that we just grabbed, and kill this thing in one hit, but I want to save that thunder rod for a little while later, because we'll be doing exactly that, but to a different enemy. Yeah. That stings if you're not ready for it. We should probably go on a shopping trip pretty quick here too, because we are getting actually a little bit low on restorative items, so that'll be something to consider in our next scenario. This battle goes pretty slow, I would say, if you're doing it the safe way. But we haven't been like leveling very much at all, so we kind of need to do things the safe way still. We'll take a juicy crit there. That one would have killed us. So that's one of the points where, like, you don't necessarily have to do it this way. You could go a little more offensively and have Celis be using things like ice instead. But if you get smoked by a couple Magitech lasers, that's just going to be a game over for you, so... It would also help if we could actually hit the tunnel armor lock. There we go. Cool. So we got an elixir out of that. Finally in the clear. And that actually is the end of their scenario. We'll get a quick save here because that's not something we want to redo. And then yeah, we'll grab Sabin and we'll start this other last scenario here. This guy is he's a little off his rocker. When you go in here, he's like, "Oh, you're the clockmaker." No, I'm not. He wants us to go fix his clock. Oh, we must be the lawnmower repairman. No, we're not that either. No more lip repairman. Fix that stove. Be on your conscience would I freeze to death. Must be here to fix my bed. No, we're not any of these things. So yeah, this guy's a little off. He'll be important much later in the story, but like not even really that important. When we hurt ourselves there, he's like, a kid? You acting like a kid? I don't have any kids. Why'd you have to bring up kids? Makes me sick thinking about it. I think it's time for you to leave now. Go on, Git, or I'll toss you out onto the veldt too. Interesting. Very interesting. We're gonna do a little shopping from this merchant. And we're gonna grab... Can I really not? Okay. We'll grab a few potions. A couple Phoenix Downs. We have a tent already. We're gonna load up on shurikens because they're so cheap. I don't really need any of these, but I do have a little bit of cash. And maybe we'll grab a few more potions. Another 10. That should be fine. So we don't actually have to talk to Shadow here, but if we do, we can actually join up with him. And he tells us that we need to go through Doma, and that the Empire is actually setting up a camp right outside of Doma. Is that the governor? I don't think so. The music slaps. It's so good. It was already good back when it was like chiptune music, but it's quite a bit better now. We're actually not gonna go through very many battles at all out here. I do need to check and make sure that I run into like a wild cat, or a stray cat, I believe. Don't need to do that just yet, but the problem with Shadow I don't think he'll leave before this point. I think it's later. But the problem with Shadow is that anytime he's in your party up until a certain point in the game, he may not, like, stay. Like, when you complete a battle, he might be like, all right, well, it's been real. And then he just leaves, which can be kind of troublesome because we're going to need him for a few things coming up. But we saw our stray cats here. And again, the reason we wanted to run into those is so that we can find them later when we get to the Veld that man was mentioning. But I think I'm going to call it here. I know that was pretty short. It's only been a couple hours. But if I get started here, I'm not going to have another save point for probably about 15 minutes to a half hour. And I don't want to keep going quite that long. I need to do a couple of things before 9. So, yeah, this was the very beginning of Final Fantasy VI. Just the introduction and a few scenarios at the beginning. We're not very far, but I think we've made a pretty good pace. I love this game. I will probably play it more on stream here, just because I love it so much. I understand it's a little different than what we normally play on my channel, but you gotta play what you're passionate about, right? So we'll be getting back to Final Fantasy at some point, but we are going to be doing a little bit more Stardew Valley probably in the very near future. So anyway, I hope you guys had a little bit of fun with this. I really love this game. I know there are some people here that feel the same way, so hopefully you'll come back and want to join for that, because it's a fantastic game. So anyway, thanks so much, everybody, for coming tonight. I really appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night or whatever time it is, wherever you are. I hope you have a great one. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Or whatever. I'm sorry, I said it again.